The 16th century was an age of exploration. European explorers sailed across vast oceans seeking new lands and trade routes to the east. One such explorer was Ferdinand Magellan, a Portuguese navigator with a bold vision. He dreamed of finding a westward route to the Spice Islands. These islands were famed for their exotic spices, holding the promise of immense wealth. Magellan convinced King Charles I of Spain to fund his daring expedition. The king was eager for Spain to gain a foothold in the lucrative spice trade. Magellan set sail from Seville in 1519 with 5 ships. His expedition embarked on a perilous journey into the unknown. They faced storms, disease, and mutiny as they crossed the Atlantic Ocean. After months at sea, they navigated the treacherous straits at the southern tip of South America. These straits would later bear Magellan's name. They finally reached the Pacific Ocean, which Magellan named for its seeming peacefulness. Ferdinand Magellan was a man of great ambition and unwavering determination. He was driven by a thirst for glory and a desire to prove himself. Magellan had already sailed extensively in the East Indies in service of the Portuguese crown. He believed that a westward route to the Spice Islands would be shorter and more profitable than the traditional eastward route. Magellan was also a devout Catholic, seeing his voyage as a way to spread Christianity to new lands. Magellan was a skilled navigator and a charismatic leader. He was also ruthless and uncompromising in his pursuit of his goals. He faced numerous challenges during his voyage, including mutinies, starvation, and hostile encounters with indigenous populations. However, his unwavering belief in his mission and his iron will kept him going. On the other side of the world, in the Philippine archipelago, Lapu-Lapu was the chieftain of Mactan Island. He was known for his bravery and fierceness. Lapu-Lapu was a skilled warrior and a respected leader, fiercely protective of his people and their independence. Unlike some neighboring chieftains, he refused to submit to Magellan's demands for tribute and conversion to Christianity. He saw Magellan's arrival as a threat to his people's freedom and their way of life. Lapu-Lapu rallied his warriors to defend their island, determined to repel the foreign invaders. He was a shrewd tactician, knowing that his warriors, although outnumbered, had the advantage of fighting on their home turf. He carefully planned his defense, ready to fight for their freedom against Magellan and his heavily armed Spanish conquistadors. A clash of cultures, Magellan's arrival in the Philippines. Magellan's arrival in the Philippines in 1521 marked a significant turning point in history. It was a clash of cultures between the European explorers and the indigenous Filipinos. Magellan's expedition had been at sea for months. They were exhausted and in need of supplies. They initially encountered friendly relations with some of the local rulers. These rulers welcomed the Europeans and engaged in trade. Magellan, emboldened by these encounters, saw an opportunity to further his mission. He sought to convert the Filipinos to Christianity. He also aimed to claim the islands for Spain. This ambition would prove to be his downfall. Magellan underestimated the resolve of Lapu-Lapu and the warriors of Mactan. He also failed to fully grasp the complex dynamics between the different Filipino tribes. The Battle of Mactan, a fight for freedom. The Battle of Mactan took place on April 27, 1521. It was a fierce and bloody confrontation. Magellan, confident in his superior weaponry and tactics, led a force of about 60 men ashore. He intended to subdue Lapu-Lapu and make an example of him. However, the Spaniards vastly underestimated the courage and skill of the Mactan warriors. Outnumbered but not outmatched, Lapu-Lapu's warriors fiercely defended their island. The shallow waters and the shoreline terrain were advantageous to the Mactan warriors. This negated the Spanish advantage of firearms and cannons. They rained a shower of arrows and spears upon the invaders. Magellan and his men were caught in a deadly trap. The battle raged for hours. It was a desperate struggle for survival. Magellan, struck by a poisoned arrow and multiple spear wounds, fell in the shallows. His death demoralized the Spanish forces. The remaining Spaniards retreated to their ships, leaving their fallen comrades behind. They fled back to the open sea, defeated and demoralized.